Hello, people of the internet. Apparently, guys, this guy called Jebzone. Apparently he's gone, chat. He's gone. Our goat that we didn't even know has quit. We lost another one. The Jebzone. Welcome to, even has it. Welcome to the Jebzone. He knew. Is he on Twitter still? Hang on. They're always still on Twitter, aren't they? Hang on. But no, he's what's that? The post says January 28th. When did he make this one? A month ago. Oh, it's still active on Twitter, I suppose. But either way, we lost another one, gamers. And in his legacy, another friend of Exo and King K, you know, because of his relation to my goat, Jebzone has decided to give us one final bit of Kino content before he goes. Growing out of Pokemon, what this really means. Now, this is 5 years old, so do bear in mind it's an old video. But as somebody who was kind of disillusioned with Pokemon around this time, I was definitely in my fucking, why does Pokemon suck now? I hate Pokemon. So, wait, comments are good lord, what happened here? What happened here? Oh, yeah, I was definitely in my grrr. So I'm curious to see. Let's cast our minds back to like when Pokemon was in its dark ages. This was before PLA, before SV kind of like gave us a good chunk of fans, not all of them, but a good chunk of fans a reason to still be Pokemon fans. Let's see. Hello, how you doing, Battenberg? You happy you finally got a winner? Yeah.
This is a bit of a smaller video.
What's up?
Hello, people of the internet. This is a bit of a smaller video than my usual content. Video. It's not very scripted, but it's nonetheless very important to me. I've actually been wanting to do this video for like over a year, but I waited until Pokemon Generation 8 would be announced, and well, here it is. I have a very clear vision of what I want to say now. I apologize about the rushed nature. I really wanted to get this video out while the topic is hot, and I don't have any 3DS footage because I don't have a 3DS capture card. Okay, wait, we get it. This Let's Go footage will make it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Just talk about is this concept that people grow out of Pokemon. It's this thing that I've heard around like Gen 5 where people.
Now, to throw my hat into the ring, I think when people mean growing out of Pokemon, to put it in the best faith way possible, I think when people say they're growing out of Pokemon, what they mean is that it doesn't. Firstly, I think it contributes to two things. One, the game isn't as stimulating as it used to be. In that, I think Pokemon is at its best when you know very little about the games. Like you go into a grassy patch, you don't know what you're going to find. You don't know when your next rival encounter is going to be, etc., etc., etc. Right? That's when Pokemon is at its fun for me personally. So when Pokemon doesn't stimulate you in this way to like either the difficulty or like the adventure, I think it's fair for you as a person to just be like, maybe these games aren't for me anymore. And that's what I would say growing out kind of entails. And yeah, I would say on a difficulty front and on an adventure front. Yeah, I would say those two things. And like maybe it's just not giving you as much nostalgia. It's all, guys, okay, it's not scripted, but he knows this will be better. This will be better than Pariah, I promise, okay? This will be better. But yeah, I would say around this time, I definitely had the feeling of growing out of Pokemon. Like maybe the series just isn't for me anymore, especially after Sword and Shield, when like the games were just like, they were too easy, they were way too linear. The game was just more insistent on holding my hand than letting me fucking play, you know? So yeah, I would say around the time I definitely would have said I feel like I've grown out of Pokemon, you know? I'm being upset around this time Pokemon didn't grow up with me. Not only do I realize how stupid and out of touch this mindset was. Yeah, I think it's I feel like everyone kind of has to go, even I went through the arc. Everyone has to kind of go through the arc that like, just because you grow up doesn't mean everything does, you know? That's just life. And I think that everyone learns that lesson in life at different paces. Sometimes with video games, sometimes with movies, sometimes I think everyone just kind of realizes the older you get, sometimes things just stay the same. Sometimes things grow up with you, but sometimes things stay the same. So that's what I would interpret as like growing out of Pokemon, so to speak. This isn't just a Pokemon issue most of the time. It's burnout in your life being different when you used to play. Yeah, I think there's an element of that too, 100%. Because like you don't have nearly as much free time to play video games. So like, yeah. I think the general game review of Pokemon and Power Fantasy of being a bestest trainer. Am I the only? I wouldn't say you're the only one, but I definitely like the adventure, you know? Going into a grassy patch and collecting all creatures. That's my favorite bit. Neverland Syndrome. I think that's what the term is, right? Either way, let's continue.
Will say, oh, the games don't really do it for me anymore. I think they're kind of boring and I think they're for kids or something like that. Or in the worst case scenario, it's like, oh, the new Pokemon designs look like trash. I mean, like literally, you know? Which everybody has the generation of Pokemon that they grew up with, and some people just don't want any more than that. But gameplay-wise, I never understood what people would mean when they would just drop Pokemon but still play things like Mario or Kirby or Zelda. It can't be just that it's for kids. There's got to be some gameplay reason.
True. A bit of cognitive dissonance there, right?
Explained to me other than people just saying, oh, it's the same shit every time. But like I always kind of thought that's what Kirby was. So what is it? It's something I never really understood until I actually felt it myself. I revisited Pokemon Leaf Green in a stream series I did with my boy Rule, and it was a lot of fun. I would like to do something kind of like that again, but the actual game I'm playing Emerald Sea Glass with my fiance. A whole lot of fun with, and that's pretty depressing for me. Leaf Green was one of my first Pokemon games. I was like right next to Pokemon Emerald as one of the games that introduced me to the series, and it doesn't really happen a whole lot. Where I play a game from my childhood, and then as an adult, I'm like, oh man, I really don't care for this. So I was really confused when I didn't enjoy how this game was designed. I didn't really like how it was more beneficial to just bum rush with your starter than to try and level up your entire team. I didn't really like the fact that they had rows of people who had muck who would spam acid armor. I didn't like the backtracking. I didn't like the random encounters. It just wasn't a very fun experience. Part of the reason why that is because I was trying to make this like superstar pre-planned team, but I wasn't able to realize that because there are limited TMs and because your whole team doesn't gain experience. Hence my comment about bum rushing with your starter. And during the whole thing, I was just saying that I liked newer games like.
I'm sorry you felt. I'm sorry you felt that way. But as someone who's played the Kanto games a lot of times, the level curve. I think they fixed it in Let's Go, but you're probably not going to play Let's Go. You're probably going to play like Fire Leaf Green, aren't you? The level curve is really strange, but the games are easy enough where like you being under level isn't a detriment. In Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, being under leveled is a detriment. If you're under leveled from the totem, you're probably gonna have a bad time. In the original Kanto games, not so much. Like there's a big level jump from Erica to Koga that isn't really that bad because the AI sucks. But I'm sorry you felt that way, Jebzone. I really am.
Black and White, X and Y, Sun and Moon, those were a lot better to me because they cut out a lot of the gameplay fat. They made it a lot more streamlined and accessible for newer players.
They did.
That's
too much yapping though, right?
Things like the physical special split, or the fact that the stories are a lot better, just you know, a whole bunch of other small things that make it a more enjoyable experience. But during this time, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon happened, and a lot of people were not happy. They didn't really like the fact that the same game that they bought last year for $40 was being repackaged and resold for $40 again with minimal improvements that could have just been in the original game. A lot of fans wrote these complaints off by saying, oh, well, you can't complain about this if you don't complain about Emerald and Platinum and Yellow and Crystal and all these other kinds of games.
Yeah, Pokemon Discourse is cooked.
I feel like that's a little unfair to say because a lot of the people who are complaining about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were like kids when Yellow and Platinum happened. We weren't the ones buying the games, and even then, if we were, this business practice had been dead for 2 generations. For Black and White, they made Black and White 2, and for X and Y, they made nothing. Don't know why they were lacking in content.
You'll never get Z losers. You'll never get on.
But whatever. So then Ultra Sun gets released, and I'm like, well, I really don't want to replay the entire game just to get the little bits and pieces of new content, but at the same time, I really like the game, and I really like the mechanics. Oh, what the hell, a second playthrough couldn't hurt. I play it, and I'm bored out of my mind the entire way through. I also replay Omega Ruby, and I'm bored. I was like really unhappy and frustrated with this feeling that Pokemon just isn't fun anymore. And now I think I can explain why. A lot of people grew out of Pokemon because it really was the same song and dance every time. And I don't just mean that the gameplay style is the same. I mean, like, you know, every generation they have this first game, but they leave out a bit of content to give you a sister game, or even like they put the move tutors in the remakes, and they have a whole bunch of Pokemon that you can't get in the original game.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a shame, really. He just doesn't really like the gameplay loop. Shame, massive shame. I'm so sorry, Jebzone. But yeah, like I said, I'm genuinely. This could have been me, chat. I'm looking into a mirror of what could have happened to me. I'm just glad that I really liked Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet. Those games are fucking great, man. I fucking love Scarlet and Violet, man. I need to play those games again, man.
Like, I want to play again. To have a complete experience,
I want to play again with Sprigatito this time.
And then there's the complaint that it's the same basic plot and structure every time. You go do the 8 gyms, and then you fight the evil guys, and then you win. You become a champion every time. Sun and Moon was trying to advertise itself as being pretty different by having island trials, but they were pretty much just gyms, only a bit more tropical this time. The actual plot.
That I really like. Okay, are the totems basically just diet gym? Yeah, but I still think they're cool. I really listen. It's one of those things I'm bored of. You know what I mean? I get it. It's 5 years ago. I get it, Jebzone. I'm not gonna. You've already quit on us. I'm not gonna fault you too much. But man, I always hate when people say that. I'm like, I really like the totems. They're fun. If anything, I would say the biggest criticism of the totems is that I think, or in Sun and Moon anyways, I think like it got a bit too easier as you got late into the game because you were given more options that the game didn't account for. It's something that Pokemon's quite infamous for, is that they don't account for the fact that you have more options to approach the gym leaders with in the later game into their difficulty. And I think that was definitely found most telling in the totem fights. Like the early ones are hard because your options are limited. The other ones are easier, not because they're designed to be, because like they kept the difficulty the same, but because you have more options, they didn't like increase the difficulty to account for the fact that you have more options. Does that make sense? That was probably the biggest issue with the totems, which I think they did a decent job kind of circumventing with the Ultra Ultra Moon, although I don't remember off the top of my head, you know?
Did take a few risks that I appreciated, but at the same time, it's still the same quota that I mentioned earlier. I feel like if you're going to have a series of 30-hour-long RPGs, the stories need to start getting more interesting, because after your first generation of Pokemon, you kind of understand how the stories are going to work and how there's no childlike wonder to finding the new evolutions of Pokemon. There's no like mystery to exploring the world and seeing what you can find, because it's always just, it feels like a chore. It feels like you're always just he guys, it's actually terminal. Oh, chat is so terminal. I would say even in the worst Pokemon games I've played, even if you gave me like X and Y or Sword and Shield, right? Oh, like easily the most fun I had playing those games. Oh, what's going to be in this grass? Or what's going to, like, oh, what is this gym leader? Oh, you're telling me that's a chore? Oh, he's just terminal gamers. He's like, terminally adult. It's not terminally online anymore. Oh, that's actually so sad to hear. Alternate universe Musty is over here, honestly. Oh, I gotta do the 8 gyms, and then I gotta beat the game, and then now I can, like, train my team. It doesn't feel like an RPG, it feels like a time sink. The battle system is very basic, and that's fine. It allows kids to very easily get into the game. But what's not so fine is the fact that after 23 years, it can feel just about as basic to an adult who's playing through the main story. The gameplay is the exact same every time, but ever so slightly improved from the way it was before, and it's never changed. There's no change to the system that really makes me rethink a strategy or think about how I'm going to structure my team. It's just always the same. I've been doing tackle battles in gyms since Red and Blue. You compare this to Final Fantasy, where every game has its, it has the core gameplay style, but it does something.
Wow. It's almost as if Pokemon is baby's first RPG and you've graduated to more of the... I'm going to cut him some slack, gamers. It's 5 years old. I'm going to cut him some slack, but... yeah.
New with it that really challenges how the player is going to think, and it makes every game stand out, on top of a completely different story every time. In Pokemon X and Y, it looked like they were finally going to change things up by introducing Mega Evolutions, but this didn't really do anything. It's the same battles, only now you have a nuke button and your Pokemon gets like Super Form and they blow through everything. Then in Gen 7, they stopped making Megas, but they keep the old ones in, so now there's like sets of starters and other Pokemon who just have Megas while later generations don't. Gen 5 Pokemon, Gen 6 Pokemon, they don't have any Megas, but the old ones are still in, so there's just like, thanks. And then they make Z moves, and these are still just nuke buttons, except for moves now and not entire Pokemon. Like, these aren't changes to the battle system, they're additions, and they're additions that I honestly don't feel add anything. And it's at this point where...
I think it's just because you're old. I want to be honest. He's not being the old allegations. Oh man. It's hurting my soul. I'm so sorry. You should have waited until SV came out. I felt the exact same way as you, but the moment I played Legends Arceus, I have literally never been so back. Oh man, you just had to hold out for a bit longer, Jebzone, and you would have been goated again. Oh man. Comparing Pokemon to other RPGs in the gotcha, I think he's just talking off the cuff, 5 years old, so I'm gonna cut him some slack. But yeah, I think if you're gonna be a Pokemon fan for this long, you kind of have to know what it is, like it's kind of baby's first RPG. It can be, you can enjoy it still, but it is baby's first RPG. It's like, no one has a problem with people who watch Bluey, but you have to have a bit of self-awareness that you're watching a show literally made for babies. You watch it, yeah. Like when you're on YouTube comment section saying that you wear a Bluey onesie and watch the show every night and you're 27, I'm like, should have kept that in the drafts. You know what I'm saying? Should have kept that in the drafts.
I begin to realize that if Pokemon were not Pokemon, I don't think people would find them very engaging games. I feel like as RPGs, they're just not very fun. They're very repetitive. They're very run-of-the-mill. The stories feel kind of childish. And other RPGs not only have more interesting gameplay, but they also have much better stories, and their sequels modernize things so that it doesn't feel boring to keep playing these 30-hour games. One thing that Pokemon has going for it that other RPGs don't is multiplayer. You could always trade and battle with your friends, and you know, that's really cool. But then there comes the matter of playing this as like a multiplayer game, and that I just don't find very fun anymore either, because, well, one, if you want to do it like officially with like Nintendo tournaments and online battles, it's a mess because Pokemon just naturally is very unbalanced, and Nintendo rule sets are usually just something like ban mythicals or ban all legendaries except for 2. So if you go by some fan rule set now, it's still not really that fun because every team has a Mega and a Z move, so it's a lot less variety than it was in, let's say, Gen 5. But then on top of that, it just gets frustrating over time how everything is luck-based, how I can miss my 85% moves, how my paralyzes never work, how people keep getting critical hits on me, or I keep getting critical hits on them, and thus the match just doesn't
that's just RPG. Oh no!
Really feel like a fair fight. It leads me to wonder, what am I doing? Like, what am I actually doing making these teams for battles that don't feel legit, you know?
Yeah, it's like literally, again, you can tell this is unscripted. I can miss my risky moves? What do you mean? What do you mean I have to make the choice of Surf or Hydro Pump? What do you mean to have a trade-off between accuracy and power? What the heck? That's like, oh no.
That's not even going into how much of a pain in the ass it is to make a reliable team within the game. And like with Ivy.
Okay, but like there's a reason Smoke. Like literally, I would completely 100% understand this. Because yeah, like officially battling in tournaments and stuff, it's a bit daunting. Yeah, of course. Bruv, the amount of times I've been bored, I type Pokemon Showdown and I click random battles and I have like a lot of fun. Have you just tried that? There's a reason why Nintendo haven't shut down Pokemon Showdown, because they know it's fucking gutted.
Training and breeding and all that shit. So it's just,
I'll do it right now. I'll play around right now.
I realized all of this last year about how it feels like I am wasting my time, and that is a very hurtful feeling because Pokemon was always one of my favorite franchises, but I wasn't out just yet. I didn't really want to abandon this series that I've held on to, so I waited, and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee got announced. It's Kanto again. It looks like it's for babies. I don't really care about it.
Admittedly, I'm gonna chat. I played Let's Go and I'm like, why the fuck am I going for a babyfied version of Kanto? I don't remember when. Don't ask me to recall when. At some point, this little Eevee motherfucker grew on me, and I'm just like, I will protect this little Eevee with my fucking life. You know. At first, I'm just like, I don't care. Why don't you evolve? I just want an Umbreon. Go away. But when I went up against Bruno and his Poliwrath one-shot my Eevee, I was like fucking livid. I'm going to max revive my Eevee and I'm going to have him kill you. Just that spite. Fuck you.
But hey, look, they cut out wild encounters and the Pokemon follow you again. Oh, well, that's really cool. You know, maybe Gen 8 is going to really bring me back. It's going to be that console Pokemon game I've always wanted. It's going to be a huge leap from 3DS. Oh, I can't.
Okay. You'll never catch me defending my $1 billion. In all fairness, I think we all kind of knew Let's Go was going to be like a baby game, like more baby than before. I think we kind of knew. Sword and Shield, fair. We kind of knew it. Let's go. There's certain thrills. Listen, you haven't lived until you tried to use Dynamic Punch, landed the hit, confused the enemy, they get hit by confusion, and then they die. You have not lived on this earth until this happened.
Wait. Pokemon Sword and Shield. Well, let's get the positives out of the way first. I really like the setting. I like the new trainer designs. I like Scorbunny a lot. That's a very cute Pokemon. Yeah, this trailer really disappointed me, guys. I mean, let's get the Dawn fan out of the room for a sec here. These graphics, just the overall presentation, the fact that it's comparable to an upscaled Sun and Moon screenshot is really sad, in my opinion.
Graphics. Oh, is it so we got Dimitri and Psylocke Hawk. Psylocke Meech. The Hawk Tour.
For what's supposed to be Nintendo's like #2 AAA franchise.
You gotta like the stream if you laughed at that.
This is the big transition between Generation 7 and 8.
Would you say that Pokemon had a rough transition to home consoles? Thank you so for the vibe, man. I mean, play Let's Go Eevee is so cute to the point where if anyone harms it, yes, I'm telling you, I don't know when it was. I can't ask you when it was. But maybe it was when I was dressing up my Eevee, because like you can change your clothes, like you and your Eevee can have like matching clothes. I don't know, man. Maybe like when I was playing dress up with myself and the Eevee, I'm just like, do you know what? I fucking love this Eevee now. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it was then.
The fact that I can show this to an unaware person and they would assume that this is from the 3DS Pokemon games, that is really telling. And I just can't think of a reason why that would be. I don't believe that Game Freak wouldn't have a budget to create a Pokemon game that felt like a massive...
Oh, man. The classic is, again, maybe it's 5 years old. Don't crash out, chat. It's 5 years old. The classic budget argument. The classic chat. Oh, yeah, Pokemon. Yes, I am Pokemon Company. We just made $1 billion on our Pokemon. Hey, can we like maybe have some of that to hire some more devs? What do you mean? Make another game. That's generally how it goes, you know. But
step upward from Let's Go. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I pictured as a kid, when I pictured the dream of Pokemon finally coming to consoles, a main series console Pokemon game, I didn't expect low quality JPEGs for backgrounds. I didn't expect blurry ground textures. I didn't expect the same models that we had from Pokemon X and Y. Like, really, I know that it's a lot for us to ask this AAA gaming franchise to remodel at least 900 Pokemon, but for Black...
Oh, he's hitting all of the 2019 talking points. You know what I mean? He's hitting all of the classic 2019 talking points. Man, this is where Pokemon discourse was in 2019. And I was in the thick of it, gamers. And everybody knows, all right?
And White, they made 649 completely animated sprites, and then for Pokemon X and Y, they made, you know, full models for everybody. I don't see how they couldn't do it again. And I don't get how anybody can come up and say that what they expected from Pokemon in HD is the same polygonal Lucario model from 2013. But it's not just about graphics, it's about like everything. It's about the fact that the camera is still limited in Generation 8 on the Nintendo Switch. It's about the fact that the environments don't really look like something that couldn't be pulled off on a 3DS. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, it's the first trailer. It's the first trailer. You haven't seen anything yet. But, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't the first gameplay trailer of a game supposed to really get me invested? Supposed to show me what this new game can do? That didn't really happen with Pokemon Sword and Shield.
I wonder what he thinks about it now. Like, has he made any modern Pokemon videos?
It's not just me assuming. It's
I wonder what he thinks of Pokemon now.
Right in front of us. I can see that this is not what I've been looking for. This is not really the Breath of the Wild, the Mario Odyssey. I'm not saying I wanted this to be...
Oh, he hit the other buzzword, chat. The Breath of the Wild. Oh, man. Take me back. I'm getting that same hit of nostalgia from watching a Bandy video. Oh, take me back. Take me back. Breath of the Wild has ruined... Breath of the Wild is my favorite game of all time. But good lord, it cooked any and all discourse. It cooked so much discourse. It's unreal. Actually unreal.
Some huge open world game, but the next step, the thing that's going to really interest me, you know, Pokemon used to be what you would buy a handheld Nintendo console for, and I don't get that at all from this game. I would much rather buy a Switch for a lot of games that are already there. They did say in that Pokemon Direct that they really wanted to make this the next best game and that they wanted to try some new things. And
of course, they always say that.
But I don't really trust that those new things are just going to be some like new forms or whatever, because none of that was demonstrated in this trailer. And even if I were very interested in picking up the game, I don't think I'm going to anyway, because I don't trust that they're not going to make some super ultra $60 version of the game later on that features content that they cut out from the original variant. Is this really how it ends for me and Pokemon? I make this video not out of hate, guys. I don't make it a habit on this channel to hate everything, but I talk about things like this because I really do care for them, because I really do care about the way they turn out, and I don't have any ill will towards the actual idea of Pokemon or Generation 8, like all the I'm not gonna go like, oh man, all the trash Pokemon in here, but like this series doesn't hold my interest anymore in 2019, and that really sucks because Pokemon is not just about being one of my favorite franchises, it's about being one of the biggest franchises of all time. And so I'm always going to be watching. I may not be playing these new games anymore because it's just not my thing, but the fate of a franchise will always matter. And when the franchise is okay with settling for less, I kind of have to wonder what made it so big to begin with.
Because you ended up buying, it's because all the plushies you bought. If you have a single Pokemon plush in your room, it's your fault. If you guys didn't know, Pokemon makes a fuck ton of money off of merchandise. So if you have any Pokemon merchandise, it's all your fault. Because they literally just make the game so that they can make merch, baby. That's what they do. The shirts, the plush, the pencils, the pens, the book bags, the toasters, the washing machines, the chauffeurs, the plane. It's all your fault, guy. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. Yeah, I honestly, this was like this honestly felt like a mirror to my past self, because this is kind of like this is exactly how I felt at Pokemon back in the day. I think a lot of us felt. Like, I want to go into the comments. I actually really want to go into the comments. I want to see. Oh, there are. No, I forgot. No, there are no. No, I forgot they're off. Fuck! Damn it! Jeb, turn them back on! So we've seen that video. Have a look at this one, huh? The logic behind Pokemon acceptance. Where's is the patron? I'm guessing the patron's dead now, right? Has to be. If you... Yeah, not found. I mean, respectful, you know? If you're going to end your channel, end the patron too, so he's not just like siphoning money off people.
Pokemon. The most prolific media
Turn this up.
franchise
Turn that
in the
shit up,
world.
brother.
A topic we're all going to hear about as long as we're not living under a rock. And a topic I am drawn to once again on this channel. Years ago, I made a short video expressing my disenchantment with the series upon witnessing a remarkably unimpressive announcement trailer for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Little did I know that this was before things were going to get really bad. I skipped those games, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and even Legends Arceus, despite many people claiming it was a surprisingly enjoyable time. I wasn't interested. It wasn't as simple as the new games sucking, because I felt bored with the games I used to like as well. I truly thought that I had grown out of Pokemon, and was okay saying that it wasn't for me anymore. But something within me changed when I saw Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. My interest was reinvigorated, ironically not through the game that touted a new direction, but through the somewhat more traditional Generation 9. So I basically want to have a more updated video, something more nuanced for my current position on Pokemon.
Oh, that's good.
Because I think the gravitational pull of this series is a bit more complex than nostalgic cycles or whatever. I'm going to talk about some bad, I'm going to talk about some good. But what I'm playing at today is why with Pokemon, I can't look away. But you know, on the topic of buying Pokemon games, I'm sure you're thinking, Uncle JebTube, I want to catch 'em all, but to do that, I'm gonna need a secure place for a no doubt copious amount of cash and credit. Well, look no further, because today's video is sponsored
oh my god,
that's
crazy.
If I'm going to talk about why I chose to play Pokemon Violet, the question presents itself, why wouldn't I? I mean, it should be pretty easy to say that I don't want to spend $60 every year for games that practically smell like they came hot off the conveyor belt. Games that are clearly rushed, clearly compromised, clearly unoptimized, and clearly not capable of reaching some basic industry standards. If almost any other video game series operated like the core Pokemon games, they would surely die out. Mario Party used to be spammed every year, just like Pokemon, but eventually, they stopped doing it. Mega Man used to be churned out on the regular.
Mega Man mentions?
Obviously not the case anymore.
Mega Musty March.
Pokemon is just built different. It can make so much money out of such little investment. Everyone's talked about how deeply troubled this series is. Everyone's given their own way to fix the Pokemon problem.
Who's Uncle JebTube? He's old. He's Uncle Ren. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It doesn't usually go anywhere. You'd believe that one of the richest video game companies ever created would put some...
That's twice now, chat. He's used the biggest media franchise, the biggest... Bruv. How about this, Jeb Zone? Your mum's the biggest media.
Money into correcting these shortcomings, but the reality is there is no reason for the Pokemon Company to change the way it does things other than out of the goodness of their hearts. Unlike, say, Sonic, which I think would be more enjoyable and profitable from making better, healthier decisions, Pokemon does not share the same luxury. They could hire some more animators, but would that really make them more money? They could hire voice actors, but
we need money.
Well, do they really have to? They could heighten the music by employing a wide array of instruments and performers, or I guess the same clangy drum sample isn't broken. It truly.
Hey! Don't dog on the music. I love the SV soundtrack.
Is
they got Toby Fox. Argument destroyed.
Potential to suffer. It cannot be understated that Pokemon is a monolith because it perfected the art of renewal and replenishment long ago. There's an unparalleled business formula for merchandise, trading cards, television, and video games. Games which utilize the same format and
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure these points were very cogent in 2022, but I think 3 years later, we kind of get it. Pokemon is capitalism. Can we skip ahead a tiny bit? Let's skip ahead a tiny bit.
Dude, I never played those. I watched Digimon the movie like twice as a kid, I think. I can only speak on what I know, and what I know is that Pokemon designs were consistently the most exciting to me. There's something to be said about the Ken Sugimori art style. It's probably one of my favorites. It's striking when it needs to be, but the simplistic shading and mellow color palette always ensure that it's pleasing on the eyes. You can tell they've taken care to ensure that the art remains pretty consistent throughout the series, while also having room to improve.
Okay, this is something I agree with. There is something about the old Ken Sugimori art that just like fucks with me, right? I really like it. But I still think SV kind of like evolving it in its own way was also good too, you know? I think the goats can coexist if you ask me.
Pokemon themselves, though, are also designed with balance in mind. I don't often feel that they are over-designed, nor the opposite extreme, and when they are, there's a contextual purpose behind it. Though this, I am never going to be okay with. What the fuck? But of course, artwork is only the first step towards inviting someone to play the games. Anyone could just appreciate a pretty picture and move on with their day, but people want to form connections with these Pokemon. And that leads to the bigger point of choice. After all, the phrase does go, I choose you. You choose a version of the game. You choose your starter. You choose your entire team. This makes every run a personal experience. Ooh, to make these choices, you naturally would look into each Pokemon's appearance, or what they offer in battle, or maybe even which one has the most raw Pokedex entry. But the real secret ingredient, the thing that separates it from any other RPG that has choices of its own, is that Pokemon is a form of social expression. Nothing quite compares to the feeling of telling your friend about a shiny you caught, or the feeling of taking your carefully crafted lineup and facing off with other real people. In a sort of meta sense, it does become about the bond between humans and Pokemon, as in us and our weird Nintendo products. We become so immersed in the virtual world of Pokemon, even if it's not really doing a great job prompting that. It's kind of bonkers. The act of catching new creatures alone is alluring, and the Pokemon Company knows this because each new game is basically marketed as such. Each trailer is usually, hey, here's a new Pokemon, okay, bye. Or, hey, here's a new wacky trainer, go draw something nice. Yeah, even the humans are significant enough to generate attention, and they just throw balls and point. Alas, this all may appear to be frivolous nonsense. Whoa,
you're sounding old.
So the games include new characters? What
being
fun.
The old allegations?
Guess it doesn't matter how good they are as long as they have new things. It raises the question of if Pokemon exists exclusively through nostalgia and brand loyalty. To which I would say, if that were the case, there would surely be diminishing returns. Seems like there's more at play here, and if I were to guess, it would have something to do with Pokemon's possibly invincible generational system. Oh lord, I remember back in 2012 I was thinking, man, how many generations can Pokemon even have? Are we gonna get to Gen 10 and have like over 1,000 Pokemon?
Gen
Fast
X.
forward to 2022, and we're at Gen 9 with over 1,000 Pokemon.
Yes.
And the worst part is the real.
Yeah. So far, 10 minutes in, you're not being the old alligator. I mean, again, you said this was gonna be a more refined, take. Which so far, I mean, I suppose you're giving very 2022 takes. You know what I mean? Along with just old, you know what I mean? It's 2022 takes plus old. Come on, Jebzone, you give me something to work with, brother. I'm literally just sitting here in silence eating my ginger snaps.
Realization that people were asking
I don't like calling them ginger nuts, it just sounds weird.
Back when I began playing. It makes you think. This Scarlet and Violet is to some new kid what Emerald was for me, which I guess is true about any long-running franchise, but with Pokemon there's clearly an intended purpose in that. That kid isn't just having their first Pokemon experience, they're likely having mine too, at least at its core. Beyond Pokemon Gold and Silver, the term sequel becomes less apt because each game is a new beginning, indeed, a new generation. Almost every fragment of a Pokemon game's DNA will attempt to recreate the original feeling for the current demographic. Things like electric rodents, pseudo-legendaries, or villainous teams.
So he's getting at the point overall that, like, every Pokemon game is someone's first Pokemon game, which is what makes it so special. Which I agree. Let's skip ahead a little bit, though.
Sport. It's an old, potentially tired tradition.
Pokemon Showdown.
However, it's a gameplay loop that anyone can understand, which is exactly why it's satisfactory to grow with it and learn its intricacies like a trainer would within the Pokemon world. This incredibly simple premise can allow for strategy and variety purely through your own creativity with a 6-man party. It may begin with tackle battles, but it could potentially end with you playing it as a genuine sport. It's an old, potentially tired tradition, but certainly not without reason. These things all come together to mean that Pokemon almost isn't even a game anymore. It's a language,
it's a feeling,
and maybe better described as an eternal sensation.
They do have to bring those old
people
backs,
of all
don't they? Those old
ages
ads
can easily share.
They're so funny.
Like fucking Christmas. You could even say that Pokemon is not a series of games, but one game that we experience through different versions. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it makes sense. It's a lifestyle. It's a religion. We could make a religion out of this. Sounds like me if I gave up on the series. Yeah, sounds like me as well. I was hoping for something a little more nuanced, but let's skip ahead a little and see if we can find something.
And you can assuredly see the cracks in this formula. Suddenly, on a console that allows or even expects a lot more out of a competition, Pokemon doesn't really seem so impressive. You can clearly tell that by X and Y they were running into some real issues adapting to this new landscape, so the games were played pretty safe, pretty downscaled. But nonetheless, Pokemon would continue to be the sales juggernaut for all the same reasons as before. This leads us to the present issue, where Pokemon is finally on a home console, and yet, it surely does not feel like it. It makes you realize exactly why the core series didn't jump to consoles sooner. Its business model is simply designed for limited handhelds. But if it's all the same to the Pokemon Company as long as they make money, then I guess we should just quit crying about it and vote with our wallets instead.
True.
That will surely show them that we don't support, okay, maybe that's not gonna work.
No, it is gonna work.
What do we do now?
It's gonna work. Stop playing the games.
Accept this.
It's gonna work.
Is giving a negative opinion only something we can do to combat the alternative of silence? Is the only thing left for Pokemon inevitability?
Yeah.
Honestly,
Pokemon is inevitable.
Maybe. I don't believe the root problem will ever go away. I don't believe Pokemon will ever not be compromised. Not until it financially crashes and burns. But I also want to call attention to the fact that it's not impossible for Pokemon to improve in smaller ways too. And that alone should be reason enough for people to express what they like and dislike about it. I mean,
which is what I would say is why I like Scarlet and Violet so much. Not only do I like the games as a whole, but it's very evident if you play Scarlet and Violet that, they're definitely getting better at doing this whole 3D Pokemon thing. You could argue that it shouldn't have taken this long, but SV, I think they know what they're doing now. And I'm expecting big things from the next game.
It's not like improvement never happens. It's not like they've literally been making Game Boy games all this time. Low bar, I know, but someone over there at Game Freak clearly is trying to improve the accessibility around the core premise, despite time restrictions that may prohibit greater change. As such, I find it kind of hard to go back to some of the older titles, and that's definitely not for nothing. Small changes from a design standpoint, such as HM removal, physical special split, and seamless battles, genuinely add up and make the games more palatable. So, on the note of improvement, one thing I do want to bring up is the Dex cut. Oh lord. There could be no greater example of Pokemon's struggle with inevitability than this. When, after 23 years, it's announced that you can no longer use every Pokemon.
God, I feel like it really is Groundhog Day, isn't it, gamers? Like, the older I get, I have to, well, not refute, but talk about the same arguments over and over again. I am still of the asked me 3 years ago, my opinion is still the same. I believe that inevitably they were gonna, this clip is just PTSD for any Pokemon fan. I believe whether it was Gen 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, eventually they were gonna cut the decks. And while I was annoyed at the time, I appreciate what it brings more than I'm upset at what we lost. Because, like, realistically speaking, when you say, like, now, let's be clear. I think at the end, what they should have done is, like, for example, when they release a game and they release both DLCs, like, maybe as like a reward for having both DLCs, like an extra bit, you can have your whole National Dex in the game. That's what they should do. But I think for the base game itself, I like the fact that there's only 400 Pokemon because it gives those 400 Pokemon a chance to sign. It gives you an ability to see old favorites and new Pokemon. I think it's like the perfect middle ground. As far as I'm concerned, I would like the black and white model of only new Pokemon, but I know that's never going to happen again. I like the perfect mix of old and new without having to rely on your nostalgic scribble bimbos is a perfect middle ground for me personally. So, what is Jebzone going to have? Now, granted, 2022. I'm saying late 2022, so about like 2 years old. Is he gonna have a nuanced take, or the take that's mine, therefore the good one?
In each game going forward, everyone is understandably a bit upset. However, I think it's fair to say that this was always going to happen at some point or another.
Okay.
This was unfortunately the risk they ran when implementing this transfer system all the way back in Gen 2. I mean, I think they ripped the Band-Aid off in the worst possible way.
True. Actually, it's my take, therefore I agree. No, but like, true. Like, I think it was going to happen, but the PR was awful. Again, this line, Masuda, you should have, bruv, you should have kept this in the drafts. We gotta make room for high quality animations. It was, bruv, have you seen Double Kick? Like, yeah, Pyro Ball looks heat, but like so many animations look shit, brother. Let's be real here. It was this was the biggest lie in Pokemon history.
The worst possible time, but could you actually imagine them programming these games forever with over 1,000 Pokemon in mind? It may not seem like it, but there's a shitload of variables involved when doing that, even if many of them are transfer only. But you know, something that I think they could do to remedy this problem for a lot of people and still maintain their schedule would be to actually make a place where all these Pokemon could be used. A place where model animation is not a priority. A place where we get down to each creature as pure data and wouldn't have to worry about how they operate in a region. Basically, I would like it if they would let you battle and breed Pokemon in their paid cloud service. Don't think this will ever happen, but if it did, then they could more justifiably focus on a select group of Pokemon and gimmicks for each title while continuing to expand their scope. It'd be a lot...
True! Oh my god, Jebzone, even 2 years ago he had the same take as me, so I agree with him. But yeah, like, the fact that I have all of my Pokemon throughout history in like a fucking cloud service is weird. Yeah, maybe I can do something with that. Maybe turn Pokemon Home into like a little bit of a thing. Doesn't have to be like a super thing, but like, what's it? Like Pokemon Fire and Leaf Green, like Hogwarts also had like mini games. You had like the Pokeathlon. Fire and Leaf Green had like do a berry catching or whatever. Like, yeah, maybe add some mini games to Home so we can still enjoy our Pokemon there instead of just having them languish for no reason. That'd be cool. Yeah, like the Battle Revolution. That would be kind of cool. You know, that'd be kind of cool. You know what, Jeb? Why did you quit? You were gone before our time. Didn't they referring to signature moves? They probably were, but it was still like horrible PR. Like half of your job as a director is fucking PR, and you fucked it up. Like, how did you do that, brother?
A lot nicer than having everyone cross their fingers for some Pokemon to be added back in post. That's what I figure anyway. Or, you know, it could also result in them deleting Pokemon Showdown. That would not be good. Man, I don't know. I guess for me, it's like a matter of expectation. If they were publishing games every 3 or 4 years, I'd expect a lot more out of them. But now I've come to accept that this will not happen. It sucks that we have to settle for less with Pokemon. Yeah. It sucks that baby steps have to be the improvement we seek. But unfortunately, that's the world we live in. Pokemon is not a victim of corporate greed. Pokemon is a victim of corporate existence. In the eyes of those who run it, Pokemon has achieved its true purpose. Almost any business would try to maintain that. So then, we are left with a choice. Do you take Pokemon, knowing full well that it will not reach its max potential, take the Poke Pill, savoring glimmers of hope that we receive through the darkness? Or do you leave it and pursue games that are not shackled by horrific deadlines and low budget?
Which pill are you taking, gamers?
Or,
which pill?
I suppose a question for myself. What about Scarlet and Violet?
He sounds old and defeated. No, I think he's come to the realistic conclusion. I think it's the same conclusion as mine, therefore it's the good one. But yeah, Pokemon is what it is. It's literally, he said it perfectly. It's inevitable. The argument is, do you want to play the games for what they are and enjoy them in that sense? Or do you want to just like walk away and be like, there's other RPGs I can enjoy? I think there's a fine. For me, again, not only have I tempered my expectations, but I genuinely think Scarlet and Violet are really fun games. Even despite me lowering my expectations, but I still think they're really, really, really fun.
It recaptured your interest despite it all. I guess the answer is that in it, I saw a glimpse of what I always imagined console Pokemon to be. The prospect of having a truly open world where I could walk freely.
Anyway, it was pause everything, okay? Piffle Neo, first time catching a stream. P, yeah? What's your favorite Pokemon? If you say the wrong answer, you're banned.
With my Pokemon.
This is the ritual for every newcomer. Say the favorite Pokemon or banned.
Even my real life friends is all I have.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
It was the next step that I imagined the series would have back in 2019. The thing that could maybe push it closer to feeling like a real adventure. Just exploring the region atop a trusty companion, deciding which gym I want to go to, climbing the peaks to find a special Pokemon, but all in a more authentic fashion. It then hit
why is everyone else? I didn't ask any of you guys.
Exactly why it was that I enjoyed Pokemon in the first place. I enjoyed learning about the culture and mythology of each region. I enjoyed searching for my new favorite Pokemon and comparing notes with my friends. I wanted that sense of discovery again. Also, Pokemon Showdowns kind of got me by the balls. I still make teams every so often.
Whee!
So I got Violet, and yeah, the game is pretty rough. Even though I was lucky enough to not experience some of the horrific glitches I've seen online.
What's the matter, streamer? Can't handle chat? Listen, I am a professional chat wrangler, okay? You shut your whore mouth.
Performance and visuals are quite.
This is also my first. No, it's not, Mapper. You have a gold badge, you liar. You've been here for. Actually, it's possible for you to be a member without ever coming. Welcome in, Mapper. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. Cage, I think I've seen you before. You guys are. How many of you guys are lying to me? I don't know. I feel like I'm being annoyed too.
Inhibiting.
Hang on, let me check. I can actually check the logs. Hang on.
Does affect the.
I could check the. Okay, with Mapper, it's actually his first message ever. I'm checking the logs. I'm checking the log. Hang on. Okay, no, this is your first stream. Okay, cool. Okay. You know what, fair. Welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome to the stream. I hope you enjoy your stay, okay? We're watching some videos today.
But buried underneath all that shite, I found the treasure I was looking for.
Damn.
Once the game got going, I was flying all over the place, trying to grab all the sick new Pokemon. I made a regional team for the first time. I got to dick around with my friends a lot because the online worked surprisingly well. And I even enjoyed the story for what it was.
Oh my god, Jeb Zone! Oh my god, yes, another Scarlet and Violet effect. I'm telling you, man, the games, they're rough as hell. But there's a lot of fun here, I'm telling you. Are you telling me you're looking at Clive and you're going to be like, oh, this game sucks. Oh, this game sucks. You know what I mean? God, these games were fun, man. And I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I actually am. As someone who's also disillusioned with Pokemon, I'm so glad you've like come around and you're like, you know what? These games were actually really fun. I agree.
Though I won't spoil
they are far from technically perfect.
Many improvements have also been made to the core gameplay, both in this game and the games I skipped, so it was pretty refreshing. It truly felt like the least restrictive Pokemon game, and to be honest, I think it's kind of amazing that they did make a game this big in so little time. I think there's a lot of room to improve. By no means did I think it was great. But absolutely. I did actually have fun.
Yes, so did I.
At one point, I may have told you that I won't have fun with Pokemon so long as they don't toss everything out and make it a flashy action RPG, while also letting me keep every Pokemon I ever raised. I may have told you that as long as these games are targeting little Timmy, I ain't touching them. But here I am, making abominable sandwiches and washing my dolphin. Maybe all that time playing Final Fantasy XIV has warmed my heart and allowed me to appreciate the smaller things in life. Who knows? But I can clearly see in this game that there is an effort to make the world of Pokemon more tangible.
Oh my god,
even just a bit. Getting to the point where we can go anywhere we want as long as we are physically capable.
The video man agrees. This is such a good feeling. This is such a good feeling.
Closer to that Pokemon MMO
Hang on, chat. Look, we know who to thank for this chat. Look, it's King K. It's the Goat King. It was all King K. He did it. Yes, my goat is not washed. I've got one washed goat this stream. King K is still the goat. Everyone go subscribe. Yes. Yes!
It's a shame that I don't think Pokemon will ever again reach the peak that Gen 5 was.
I'm telling you, he strikes again.
Console. Even if it did, maybe I wouldn't be as enthralled in it as I was back then. There's a special addicting energy to playing Pokemon at school and having to quickly snap back to reality when the teacher walks by, you know? But I guess that's why I found this game's academic setting so charming. There are games I played religiously as a kid that I couldn't tell you a thing about now. This one, though, lives in my head rent-free. It has a constant presence in this world and has a feverish energy that allows it a place alongside the games I unconditionally love. It may be battered and beaten, but the heart of the franchise is still there and attempting to grow. That's the diabolical thing about it. But it's kind of brilliant in a way. There's just something about Pokemon, and only Pokemon, that brings me back to simpler times.
It's shame. Oh my god, actually shame. Actually, oh my god, Jeb, I'm not even joking. Jeb went through the exact same arc as me. 2019. Oh, Pokemon sucks. Oh, capitalism. Oh, yes, media selling franchise. And then by like 2022, 2023, I'm like, you know what? They ain't cinema, but good lord, these are my fucking messy goats. And I agree. Oh man, Jeb Zone. Round of applause, chat. Round of applause. He came around. He had the same arc as me. He actually had the good ending. There was like 3 endings. The ending where he becomes Distant Kingdom's fucking long-lost cousin. The one where he just packs up his bag. Like he gets like a stick on a bag and walks away never to be seen. But we got the 3rd good ending where he's like, do you know what? I've played other RPGs. I know Pokemon is never going to be Breath of the Wild. And I'm going to take them for what they are. And for what they are, they're fucking messes. But they're my messes. And that's exactly how I feel about Scarlet and Violet, baby. That fucking game's a mess. But man, was it fun. And I recommend everyone try it too, all right? We're so back. We're so back. It's better than Breath of the Wild, 100%. Breath of the Mild, seated. Breath of the Snore. Snore of the Wild, that's what we call it. It's way better. Way better. But hey, Jebzone. Listen, man. He was taken from us too soon, chat. He was taken from us. Why do all the good ones quit? Why do all the good ones quit, Jebzone? I'm actually a little more curious now. Why did he go?
You there?
Is like something in the description? Oh, look what happened. Like, is that like a quick version? I don't know. Like 19 minutes is a bit much, to be honest.
Webcam. Hi.
What happened?
It's been a while.
though. I guess
Meth of the child.
Channel,
that's unreal.
There isn't really a while. There just is. You know.
They don't know the law.
I guess I'm here to tell you guys, give you kind of an update. It's not really anything super
is it going to like college or something from the looks of this?
Twitter, or if you've been on my community tab. But you know, I figure I've got like 33,000 subscribers. So maybe a whole bunch of people have been wondering like where I'm at secretly. Maybe I don't know.
Hang on, how long was it? How long was it? What? Yeah, it'd been 11. He was dead for 11 months. Was there like a community post I can read? Oh, he didn't really clarify. Oh man, Jeb.
The short of it.
What happened, Jeb? Oh, hang on.
Now don't unsubscribe. I want that 33K still on my platitude or whatever. But you could consider this indefinite hiatus. Again, I know there's not really too big of a difference between that and normal procedures on my channel, but I haven't.
What happened?
Actively been working on anything for this channel.
I think it was just college, honestly. He basically felt burnt out on content and hit out his video catalog is mostly negative critique. I would say, if anything, how do I want to phrase it? I was going to phrase it poorly, but I think I would say, let this be like an example of what happens when you just exist to do negative criticism. Because I've always said that as much as negative, like I said, you can even just like look at Sir Moresty, right? The ones that get more views are the ones where I'm like not really enamored with the video, so to speak. When I'm being a bit like, you could argue mean-spirited, right? I know that, but I also want to cover good stuff as well, because it like when you do, and like this might come across as a bit, all right, old man Moresty, but I honestly do feel like when you spend your whole time shitting on stuff, like it affects your psyche. Like you lose part of your soul. I think you really, really do, and it affects your mental health, it affects the way you perceive things. It genuinely, like, if you do it enough, I think long-term exposure, it's like radiation. Honestly, it's like radiation. A couple times, yes, cathartic, crash out, yeah, fuck this thing. You do it too much, eventually, like, it starts skewing, even the things you like, you start skewing negatively. You keep doing it again, like, it fucks with your head. And, like, before you know it, you're just a fucking grumpy old man. Like, actually, that's just literally how it goes. And I've even sometimes noticed when I'm covering too many like negative videos in a row, I'll even sometimes notice in real time, I feel like I'm a bit on edge, Mr. A bit on edge. We have to watch some old Bandy. That's why old Bandy's been a good antidote. Because when I feel like I'm a bit on edge, watch some old Bandy. The charm of like a guy making videos in 2013, that instantly resets me. It instantly resets me. Even this video was a nice reset, do you know what I mean? So it definitely does that. It definitely 100% the Demeach cycle. I think Demeach is a bit different because he was doing it purely for the love of the game. Like, even just by talking to Demeach, he literally just does this for the love of the game. And like, you know what? I respect it in a very strange way. But yeah, like, I feel like even if it's not as financially lucrative, if you're like running your channel as a business, you have to. Like, I think you literally, for your own sake, for your own soul, you have to like find a balance. It doesn't have to be a perfect 50-50 balance. You have to find a balance. It could be like 70-30, it could even be 80-20. But like, you have to be able to cover some of the things you like. Not only does it like kind of help you as a critic, because then people can see the things you like along with the things you don't like. I think it helps balance out your critic. But I think it doesn't fuck with your psyche or your soul as much. I believe that. So that's true. I don't want to, again, I'm not invested enough in the Jeb Zone to watch all 19 minutes of this. But if the short summary I got is true, I'm really sorry that happened. And all the best of luck to you, Jeb, my man. All the best of luck to you, okay? All the best. This might not be the last time we see each other. Someone might recommend another 7 of your videos, but we'll leave you there, Jeb Zone. We're going to leave the Jeb Zone for now, okay?